Well, I'm in a season of life where I can't make it to the range nearly as often as I would like to, and I have safety concerns at home. I can't shoot rimfire here or center fire or 9mm pistols, things like that. I can get away with shooting pellet rifles. So, I have kids that are a certain age. I have to be around and available. The job that I work, it just means that I need to do a little less shooting and less range time than I used to, and that's fine. That's just a normal progression of life and maturity. But it doesn't mean that I don't pull triggers. And I'm pretty intentional, actually. When it comes to air rifles, I use these as practice devices for me, whether that be practicing for NRL 22, like I have a tank trap over here, I have a standing barricade, a tabletop, a barrier. I just have a few things that I set up for different air rifles. But one of my favorite air rifles has been this little deal right here. This is a Crosman 1377, so it's a 177 caliber pellet pistol. That's the way that it comes. And I have a buck rail system on here, so I have an adapter on the front from buck rail. I also have a barrel mounted adapter here. I can throw on lights or a red dot if I didn't have this other rail on here. And the sound moderator here is also from buck rail. I have a cover on it right now from some Amazon thing, not necessary, just for fun. So this right here makes this incredibly quiet. And I mean, if I go up to max velocity, incredibly quiet. The loudest thing would just be the impacts, whatever you're shooting against. The pumper itself has survived, and this is from buck rail. This is their pumper kit, and I found this to be pretty much necessary. The old one, the more that I had tested the old one, the more I realized it just had a lot of limitations. So this kit right here, just these 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces are excellent. And then typically I run on any Crosman 1377. I will run on the rear of the Tang, this little plug kit. It's a Picatinny piece that runs right on the back, and it allows me to throw on a side folder. And normally I have a buck rail side folder on there. I'm trying out a Strike Industries side folder right now on multiple platforms, and this happens to be one of them. And so I like it. It's a little shaky. I actually think the buck rail side folder is more appropriate for this setup, especially going against plastic. I have metal on plastic here. That aside, this is my setup, and it's extremely accurate. I have a Primary Arms 3X on there. Believe it or not, I don't have major parallax issues, even at close distances. I can still take squirrels at 10 yards and then shoot this out to 50 or 60 yards pretty effectively because it has 10 mils of holdover. As long as your eyes, can pick out the 10 mils, it has the stadia, it has the windage, and I've used it quite a bit. I have done a trigger job on this one just to bring it down to about 2.5 pounds, something like that. You can look that up online if you're curious about how those work. And I'm trying to remember if this one has the buck rail grips or not. I honestly forgot. I don't remember. I feel like it does have the buck rail grips because I think I put them on both of the 1377s that I run. I don't have a 1322 yet, but I would like to. The rail on top here was some Amazon deal with a converter underneath, so it goes dovetail to Picatinny. And normally that would allow me to run a full-size optic on here if I want to be ridiculous, but this produces accuracy in line with that. It'll shoot same hole groups at 25 yards, which is insane for the price of one of these things, and that it was a pistol originally. I also will sometimes I had run night vision on here at one point for predator, like little critters, ratting as they call it in other countries, or a light on here, night vision stuff typically. But that's been my setup, and I really, really like these things. They're underrated by far. I put QDs on most of them, on most of the optics, because I can take the same rifle, and as long as I have a good QD, I can throw on a scope and shoot longer distance, for my property here. I can go down to the 3-power or down to the red dot. I can take the stock off completely with a red dot and turn it back into a pistol, and it's very wieldable. Like, it's not hard to shoot this when I take the stock off. In fact, if I have a red dot on here, this right here is so lightweight, it's just convenient. So I want to encourage you, if you have not gotten yourself like a decent air rifle and you don't want to spend a lot of money, I understand that. Instead of hunting around and trying 20 different air guns that are just going to suck, because most of them do, I would suggest, if you have limited distances like what I'm working with here, get a 1377 or a 1322, I guess. Get the Crosman steel breech so that you can put, basically an effective sight mounting option on there. Get all the buck rail editions, all of them, for the gun, and you'll be in enough money to make it worthwhile and really enjoyable, but still less than hunting around and trying out a plethora of other air guns that are just going to fail you. This is thousands of rounds in and still shooting just as tight.